Do you know anybody that was coerced or tricked into giving an inheritance or making a will or trust? Think maybe unfair pressure from a caregiver. So this is known as undue influence. It's a legal term. And if you are in a situation where you think this could be an issue, let me explain exactly what it takes to show that somebody's being unduly influenced. And keep in mind that if somebody is unduly influenced, the gift that they make, the one that's unfair, will be voided. The first thing that the courts may look at is the vulnerability of the victim. Let me give you an example. Maybe it's an elderly individual with advanced dementia who relies heavily on the daily care of others. Maybe it's a person who was recently diagnosed with a serious illness or experiencing some sort of significant emotional distress or maybe even physical weakness. Perhaps somebody who is isolated. Maybe they have very little contact with family or friends. A court will look at all these things. A second thing a court will look at is the parent authority of the influencer. A good example would be like a close caregiver of the person. Obviously, the caregiver is going to be heavily relied upon. Or perhaps it's a close family member who has responsibility and management of the person's finances or personal information. Could even be a legal or trusted financial advisor as well. Next, they'll look at the actions of the person that's influencing. Is this person purposely keeping away from their family or friends? Are they exploiting their fear or maybe some sort of mental condition? Or purposely trying to create confusion or even division in the family? That's a big one. The last thing that's looked at, and it's an important one, was the result unequitable? Meaning, was the gift to the person unfair? An obvious example of this would say there's a brand new caregiver, only been around for 3 months, and at the end of the day, after the person passed, she ends up receiving 80% of the inheritance at the expense of maybe the only child who only receives 20%. Normally, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. Unfortunately, this happens way too often. If you've seen something like this before, let me know in the comments.